Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Lounge. Today, what we're going to talk about is feminism and how it's affected the world and society and pretty much relationships as a whole, right? A lot of things, I think a lot of things get confused with feminism in its truest form, but today we're just going to talk about a pretty straightforward forum that they had down in I think it was Cape Town, Africa. Me and Jay gonna shed some ideas on on this topic, and unfortunately, D-Lo couldn't be with us today. He's tended to some personal issues, and we will rock on from there. All right. But guarantee he'll be back with us next week, and we'll continue doing what we do, talking
all
shit
day.
and laughing.
All day. That's what we do.
All right. All right. So let's go.
Let's do it.
Would you consider yourself a feminist? Please raise your hand if you do. Now, do you believe?
See, here the thing is like, I think feminism is on a, I don't know, it's kind of like it's getting a bad name. And I think people have taken feminism to a bad place, because even if you look at some of the people in the crowd, they didn't raise their hand. You see what I'm saying?
I'm wondering if they know what actually feminism is.
Right.
And that's probably why they didn't raise their hand. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I do think, it's kind of getting it's going in a bad direction for this particular reason. A lot of people don't know what it is. And I do feel like a lot of people who do know what it is are pushing it. Nothing wrong with pushing it, but pushing it way harder than, not to say what it should be, but it's being pushed extremely hard. Almost in the light where it's like, fuck, how you feel?
We saw the emotion that you had.
Well, here's the thing. Feminism has, to me, become a political talk point for, for the Democratic Party, right? I think the Democratic Party has made it a pin to sit there and talk about it in every damn election, to sit there and sway people to vote for them. Kind of like how they do black people when they want the black vote, or when they need the black to win, right? But I think it's like just one of those points that they try to drive home so that they can get votes.
I agree.
And I think that has also made it to where it's been put on the forefront and everybody has to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's a topic to where people have to address it, but also it could be corrupted and twisted to fit whatever narrative whoever's talking about it. You see what I'm saying?
It's almost like it's being weaponized
Yeah. So yeah, yes,
to an extent.
I agree.
Believe that everyone is equal. Again, please raise your hand if you do. Not that many people would actually call themselves feminists. Now, before you sigh, roll your eyes and think, again, how many more times do I have to be lectured about this? Might as well take a nap. This is not men are weak, women are superior. No, this is about why feminism is changing.
See, that's a thing. That is one of the things. Like, I saw Whoopi Goldberg talking about not having eggs or having eggs and stuff like that, and on the View and whatnot. I was just like, bro, are you serious? Like and just the way the View talks about it. Obviously, it's an all woman cast, so they're gonna speak on it from a standpoint from a woman, and they just like project superiority in the fact that women are superior
It's
to men.
almost as if in regards to the View, it's biased.
Of course.
It's biased. Something like the View could definitely use that male perspective or whatnot. But yeah,
Right.
something like that, it definitely comes off as being very, very biased for that particular reason.
It's weird that I find it that it's on during the day when you know
I know exactly where you're going. I know.
when women would be home, right, taking care of the
hmm
kids
hmm
or take care of the house or whatnot, and it's
It's
strategically placed right at it's like right after when you would be done
it's
taking
like
care of yourself.
it's like typical American time, right? You
Yeah.
know, if this was the olden days and whatnot, and in some cases, some people it still is, the male, the breadwinner of the household, or so forth, whatever you want to call it, they're at work during the
Mhm.
day, and the person holding down the house, um, the female, or whatnot, this is when they're at home. So this is when it's best for them to watch. But
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee, my opinion, my opinion. If there was a show called The View and it was an all male cast and it was on when it was convenient for the male to be home, it would be a huge issue. But again, that's my opinion.
For the worse, why is there such a stigma around this word, feminism? And why are people twisting this word, this action, into something completely different? Personally, I would call myself a feminist, and I know that sometimes I get judged for this. People think that I have some crazy idea that men are weak and should be punished, and that women are superior. But no, I don't think this. I want to try and change the view that people have on feminists. Feminism means that everyone is equal. No matter what race, gender identity, sexuality, or religion, feminism means equality. Some people are changing this idea, and these are people who I like to call elite feminists.
Mm.
These elite feminists believe that feminism is just for women, and only cisgender women. In their minds, you have to fit so many.
The hell is cisgender?
Hey, so
Hold on.
I feel
I'm gonna hold on. I gotta look this up because that just don't
I mean
that don't make no
I
fucking
think I kind of
sense.
understand where she's going. Um, as far as the elite feminists, right? So, equality first off. This is something that's been fought for years, and women are, wanted to be treated as equal. And make no mistake, they are treated as equal. Now, um, the elite feminists, the one part I do disagree with, as far as her saying, it should be only women. Um, there are males who are very feministic too,
Hmm.
and that there are males that feel as if this feministic way that they present themselves, everyone, regardless whether you're male or female, everyone should be like this. This should be the norm. That's how they feel. So I agree and disagree with her a little bit, but I think I already know where she's going.
Yeah, I want to hear her point out right now before I hear. I see what she's like. I agree with you. I see where she's going when she's talking about elite feminism, because it's always women with status or
Yes. Yep.
with finances that when they come out they're going to talk this extra rah-rah bullshit, and it's
It's
like,
almost as if they got a point to prove.
right, and it's like, how are you helping your cause if you're trying to push a cause? I understand that you see there's a problem and you want to push a correction with the problem, and that thus creating your cause for sitting there. Hey, this needs to be fixed. I'm bringing awareness to it. But then when you start talking about all this extra bullshit where you're talking about, oh, we don't need men, we just need y'all for sperm and stuff like that, that's when I start going, really? Like, all right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Boxes. And if you don't, they will not support you, and they may even discriminate against you.
Mm.
Feminism used to mean something important. People would
Here we
march
go.
for rights to vote, for freedom to speak, and some men would help these women. To this day, there are still men that, personally, I would call feminists. Men such as Will Smith, Chris Hemsworth, and more. But these elitists think very, very differently to them. For example, they want to push men out of jobs that these men rightfully have. Now, I do understand that in some circumstances that women are not being paid the same as male co-workers, but this is not what these elitists are talking about.
And I would like to challenge that one, because there are some jobs that women get paid higher and get hired at a higher rate than men. And then I would like to challenge her finding and statistics on those, because I just would like to know. I would like to really challenge that, because a lot of feminists bring that topic up.
I think that in regards to that, didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No, go ahead, Gabriel.
I think in regards to that, we hear more about females not being paid as much as males and so forth, but we don't hear enough of it being the other way around. The biggest one I've recently seen in regards to a female not being paid, like they should or whatnot, Scarlett Johansson. When the Black Widow movie came out, I know there was a big debate or whatnot as to whether or not it was going to go directly to streaming, which it ended up doing. And Disney Marvel didn't promise they didn't give proper compensation to her.
Right.
Yeah, so you remember they
I remember that.
lawsuit. She won that.
Yeah.
We hear about stuff like that. We don't hear enough about the female CEO. We don't hear enough about, stuff of that nature. And I think that's part of the problem. There's not enough balance in regards to what's being published and what's being put out in regards to that particular aspect of feminism when it comes from the financial side. Because there are a lot of successful women out there that are running corporations, running small businesses. Jeannie Buss, Los Angeles Lakers. She's the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. She inherited the team from her father when he died. We don't hear enough about that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just backwards. We always hear about, women getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I understand that, but and it's brought up in such a vague conversation, like it's a vague talking point. You understand? Like I would like to see, okay, so what are we specifically talking about? Because if we're talking about, oh, women aren't being hired enough in construction, I understand why. You're not going to tell me that you're going to hire a woman that's 150 pounds versus a man who's 200 pounds.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like there's just certain things, like if you're talking about these industrial jobs where obviously they are catering to men and their physicality. All right, I would beg to differ. Like I'm like, all right, if I'm a business owner, as a business practice, I'm not gonna hire.
I know where you're going. You're looking at the job, right? And
Right.
there are jobs that are physically demanding, and that's not to say women.
No, but it's not even that. I'm just my whole point is that where are these statistics coming from specifically? Because if you're nitpicking at certain jobs and you're just throwing it out there like, oh, I got this statistic from here. Okay, pertaining to what? Because I would like to see that.
What's your source, basically?
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. It's always brought up as even when it's weaponized in politics. I sit there and I'm looking and I'm like, well, you're saying it, but
you
where's
always
the
hear the quote.
credibility?
You always hear the quote. Statistics show, but
Yeah.
not this particular. This particular source says you don't get it that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's continue on.
They want to push men out of the workspace entirely. I hope that one day these women can be stopped, but they're spreading the wrong message of feminism to the world.
Okay.
With many means of social media, however, it makes it easier for them to get this message out there. Why?
I'm glad she brought that up because social media social media is a good thing, but social media is also a bad thing.
It's a double-edged sword,
bruh. Because she's right. Like, let's just continue. I don't later on.
All right.
Do these women think this? I don't know. I think they might have some sick, twisted idea of revenge for what happened generations ago. Let's try putting ourselves in their minds. Picture yourself as who you would consider an elite feminist. Let's think. Men want to control us. They're all the same. They all think the same. And we need to get back at what happened generations ago. That meant.
All right, I'm just going to pause it right there. Well, that's another talking point for how feminists feel about the Republican Party. Recently, they've been passing these ridiculous abortion laws, and it's like you don't control how. It's like I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like it is a form of slavery because for a government,
it's borderline. Yep.
Because if a government's telling you what you cannot do, with
they're exhibiting control,
right, over a woman's body, like a woman. Ideally should be in control of her own body. Period.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
And it's like, okay, you know, it's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing. It's such a weird thing because I don't even know how people can form a thought to sit there and say, hey, we're going to control your ability to choose.
I know exactly where you're going, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was probably another unbiased opinion, unbiased vote, similar to the View. The panel that I'm assuming, again, correct me if I'm wrong, But the panel that made that decision was probably all male because I just don't.
All white males, all white
Yeah,
old men.
because I don't see, regardless of color, I don't see any female supporting something of that nature.
Well, there are women that are in the Republican Party that support that.
But were they on that panel? Were they there at the time of that vote?
And that becomes another that this is another talking point, another
Mm-hmm.
talking point that we can have. But that's when it becomes ideology or public or political views. You know what I mean? Like, what is your personal ideology versus your political alignment? Like, come on now.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the name of that damn show? I gotta look this show up. It's with these girls. It's like the United States fucking my memory's so bad, man. I got so much shit in my head, but
You getting old.
huh?
I say you getting old. That's why your memory bad.
Nah, it's not even that. This nigga here. Hold on. Hold on, just give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. I do think that part of the issue with a lot of that is just that it's unbiased. Well, it's biased, excuse me. It's biased. At least that's
You
how I
said
see it.
it's
When
what?
it comes, it's biased. When decisions and stuff like that are being made or talked about, it's biased. A person could make the case that we're being biased right now because we're two males and we're speaking on feminism. A person can make the case because we're just two males. We don't have a female on here right now. But
No,
with that,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. I think we need to be held more accountable as
yes,
people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
hold us accountable, but don't sit there and say, "Hey, if you do this, do that, we're gonna or you
this
can't have the option. You can't have the option to do that. Like, you can't
right.
sit there and say people don't have the option to. I should say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit there and say people don't have the option to do that because what you're doing is you're contradicting the freedom
Mm-hmm.
that America stands for, right? We're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
about freedom, right? But you contradict it when you go and sit there and say, hey, you can't get, like, I think it was Georgia and Texas that passed new abortion laws. And Georgia had,
Definitely
like,
Texas.
it was Texas?
Oh, definitely Texas. Georgia might have
Yeah,
been
well,
right behind
Texas,
them, but definitely Texas.
yeah, Texas is a red state through and through. But, yeah, so sitting there saying, like, if you go and you get an abortion, even if you get raped, if uh,
It's like this, man. I was having a
it's
conversation with my own wife about that, and I've heard a few females say it too. It's unfair because from the time of conception, you only have up to about 6 weeks to get the abortion done. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is pretty much what I've been with a lot of females. If I've had this conversation with, have said they only have up to like 6 weeks to get the abortion done. Most women don't know that they're pregnant until they're 6 weeks and beyond. So you really just took that choice away from them.
But hold on. Now, if you out here fucking without a condom, you would know. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna know the subtle changes when you are fucking pregnant.
Yeah. I mean,
You
because
see what I'm saying?
you have
Because
to. That's what I
you're
was
not
trying
gonna
to.
operate under this.
You have
Go
to
ahead.
accept that there's a chance that you could be pregnant. I got that. But think about the person who were potentially raped or molested or whatnot.
Now that
You took that away from them.
right now, that's where I have an issue, and I'm like, okay,
That's what I'm
what
getting at.
about those extreme cases where it's like, it's you can't even do anything, like.
Yeah,
it's just
6 weeks
that.
is nothing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a sticky subject.
it's not, yeah, no. It's just I think that they did something that was stupid, and I just don't agree with people controlling people's body.
I don't. It's your
I mean,
body. You do what you do.
maybe because I'm a minority, and it's
If I was a majority, I still wouldn't. I wouldn't agree with that.
yeah, but you'd be surprised, man. A lot of the people that support this shit. Well, I'm beating around the bush because I'm trying not to say what I want to say about it because it's going to lead into a different topic, and I'm just trying to stay on this one. But yes,
Look,
because that's going to be another topic for another show, another day.
all right, but let's continue with the video.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It doesn't make sense, and I don't understand what they're actually saying, and I don't even think they understand what they're saying. I've tried seeing the world in their eyes, but I don't get it. I believe that everyone should be a feminist. No matter what race, gender identity, sexuality, or religion, we should all be feminists. If you don't consider yourself a feminist, ask yourself why. Is it because of this stigma around this word, or are you scared of calling yourself a feminist? I don't have a permanent solution for this, or possibly even a solution at all, but I think that if people get what I'm trying to say, if I can get my message out there, then hopefully I can possibly change some people's hearts. Now, let me ask you again. Do you believe in equality? Please, raise your hand if you do.
Yeah.
Now, would you consider yourself a feminist? Please, raise your hand if you do.
Less
I hope
people
that you
put
have
that.
taken something from this talk.
You see how it is? Like
Mm-hmm.
the moment she said the word, less people put their hands down. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in equality, but they don't believe in feminism. So
I'm gonna save my comments for after the video. I see we got a few seconds left for in it.
yeah.
I just took a couple
possibly
notes.
even change.
Huh?
So I just took a couple notes that I'm gonna kind of touch on. Go ahead, you
Okay.
can finish the
Your
video.
mind. Thank you.
All right.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Now you could go first.
So I just wrote down two things, right? Feminism versus superiority. Are we all so in regards to feminism versus seniority, right?
Mhm.
Well, not seniority, superiority. There really are those out there who feels that feminism should be superior to everything. They feel that wholeheartedly. And these are the ones that push that agenda, that forces that agenda on everyone. If you're not accepting of that, like I said, regardless whether you're male or female, because there are males who are feministic, there are males who are, you know, in line with feminism, right?
Right.
If you're not in line with it, you are a problem. This is wrong.
Okay.
This is wrong. This is disrespectful. I got it, in regards to equal rights and everything. This stuff has been, fought for years and years and years. And I like to think we're at a stage, glad to see it in my lifetime, but I feel like we're in a stage where we borderline reached that level where there's a balance between feminism, feminine equal rights and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, yeah, there are pay gaps and everything, but that stuff is slowly being closed. One of the things I look at, right, you hear a lot about WNBA players not being paid as NBA players. A person would use that as a weapon in regards to this
Most
particular
feminists
topic.
do. Most feminists do. But
And
go ahead.
again, this is my opinion before anybody jumped the gun. Please know that this is my opinion. I'm not speaking for anyone. But in regards to that, you have to look at the product that's being put out. When you go to a baseball game, a boring baseball game, the score ends at something like 1-0, right? A boring basketball game, no, there's no dunks. There's just jump shots. Not 3-pointers, just 2-point shots. Something of that nature, right? A boring defensive game. When we go to see this stuff, I'm looking to see somebody get dunked on. I'm a basketball player. I'm looking to see somebody ankles get broken. I'm trying to go left while you going right. And when you come back that way, I'm crossing you up again. That's what we pay to see. Entertainment. Baseball. No one goes to a baseball game just to see a single, just a base hit. People want to see home runs. This is what sells. All right? The WNBA is good, pure basketball, but it's not exciting.
Right.
It is not exciting. Would I pay to go see a WNBA game on my own? No. I'm just going to be honest. No. But as a father that has a daughter, I would support 100% because this is the WNBA. I want her to understand you can do it too.
Right.
But it will probably be a conversation for another day, but it's not entertaining. The only person, I can only think of one person in the WNBA that dunked. Two, Shamika Holdsclaw and Lisa Leslie. That's it. And it wasn't dunking on someone. They just happened to have a fast break. That's 2 times, and the WNBA has been around since like the early 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
It's been around for a while.
Right.
Yeah. So
they had to cut their teams and to make sure that they had the revenue, and even some of the revenue is not even, But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And if anybody wants to, touch on, I don't, going in that direction, I don't know nothing about the WNBA. I know who Dawn Staley is. I know who Shamika Holdsclaw is. I know of a lot of these different ladies that have played ball. I know about Diana Taurasi, Rebecca Lobo, and so forth. So no one can question that I don't know what I'm talking about in regards to the WNBA. Again, it's my opinion. It's just not entertaining. And this is probably part of the reason why they're not getting paid nowhere near like NBA players.
Right.
I'll let you go ahead before I hit.
No. You pretty much hit what I was gonna sit there and talk about. But I'm gonna add on. I did. So just to add on about the NBA, WNBA, it's just boring, man. Like, I've tried to watch games. What is the LA Stars? Sparks. I've tried. I've tried to watch some of the games. It's just, it reminds me of high school kids playing basketball. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the college games.
Yeah.
It's just, and it has nothing to do with women playing or anything like that. It has nothing to do with it. It's just,
they're playing good basketball. They really are.
They're playing sound fundamental basketball, but when we tune in to watch stuff, we're looking to see stars. Who are your best stars? Who's got, who's out there making shit happen?
Mm-hmm.
If LeBron James wasn't the type of man to run down another person and go from one end of the court to the other end of the court and block another man's layup after the man done took off in a full sprint, I don't think people would sit there. That's one of the things that people are like, wow, this man is phenomenal. This man is 8 now?
37, 38.
Yeah. and he's still balling, picking up the numbers that he had from before. Like, if not doing better because his team is fucked up. We want to see that caliber.
We want to see that athleticism.
Yeah, because that's what we tune in to admire. You know, we admire the athleticism. We admire the teamwork. We admire all these things that are that make the game cohesive and exciting. But
we admire we admire the product. That's right. We admire the overall product.
At the end of the day, we're talking about Samsung TV versus
White Westinghouse.
White.
Come on, I got you. Man.
This is what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Some people will buy White Westinghouse because of
White Westinghouse.
But ask people what they want to sit there and get. If they can have both TVs for free, everybody's going to get a Samsung.
Absolutely.
So that's all. So I think we've hit all the points that we wanted to talk about. But
I do got one.
Okay.
I do got one. You don't mind? So the other note that I took real quick. She says everyone is a feminist, right? I disagree.
Okay.
The note I took, I'm not feminist, but I support feminism. I'm not here to bend over backwards and, I'm feminist and all this other stuff, right? I'm a father, I'm a husband, but I'm not a feminist. I'm not going to box myself in to please. I'm not going to box myself in to please someone else's agenda.
Right.
But I do support what you stand for. Because, again, we've established there is a parity and there should be some equality in a lot of things. If there's a CEO position available and it comes down to a female and a male, right, for that CEO position, if that female is more qualified for that position and that pay,
right.
If she's more qualified, and that's just basic common sense. And I got it. The world doesn't think like that. But this is why I do support feminism. I do support equal pay. Or back to the Scarlett Johansson thing or whatnot. I do support equal pay.
Yeah,
it's a known fact.
They fucked that up big time.
Robert Downey Jr. would show up in the Marvel movie, and I'm talking about the later stage of his career as Iron Man. The movie is not even about him. He's just a supporting character. But he is the highest paid person on set. Highest paid. But you will have someone like Scarlett Johansson who has a much larger role in that particular movie or whatnot, and she's not paid like him. She's putting in way more work. And I'm just using them as an example. She's putting in more work on set and everything, but Robert Downey Jr. is making more money. Cases like that is where I feel like there should be a balance. All right. And again, like I said, certain positions, if the person, male or female, if you out-qualify the person or you outwork the person or something of that nature, that should be your job. You should be getting hired for that position. I see that. But I do understand, too, that there are certain things, let's say from the physical aspect, there are certain things that are more physically demanding. And it may not be nothing against any female. Women are in the gym much harder than some men. I'm a habitual fat kid. There are women who outwork me in the gym. Oh, just keeping it 100. I'm a habitual fat kid. There are women who are putting in work in the gym. But despite all the work, this particular job from a physical aspect is probably not for you. If you're not hired for that position, that person who's doing the hiring is probably doing you a favor. Because you can't keep up to that particular standard. Not saying all females are able to keep up to that standard, because again, I'm a habitual fat kid. There are people in the gym, there are women in the gym who I just be awestruck when I see what they're doing in the gym. And I'm talking about, I'll adjust my workout try that so I can be like that person. I do it. But there are certain situations where, from a physical aspect, this is just not for you. It's like everybody knows at this point, women in combat arms in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
The soldier that's out engaged with an entity or whatnot, or an enemy or so forth, they're under attack.
Mm-hmm.
Should they have to worry about whether or not this female soldier that holds the same job as them, same rank and so forth, are able to pull them, like literally grab them and pull them out of a bad situation? You have a 115-pound person, female, right? And a 250-pound male. And this 250-pound male, let's say, for example, he shot up. He can't move. Should he have to worry about whether or not this particular person can pull them out of that situation and save their life? But that's on that particular person to decide. That's their if they feel comfortable with that, hey, by all means, let's do it. But that's some of the things that these people have to worry about now, because we want to give this equality or whatnot.
Mm.
But again, this is my opinion.
See what you're saying. No, and this, I don't know. I don't think people think it through. Like, here's one of the things that I have a problem with when addressing certain issues, right? So like, you have the feminists, right? You have the feminists that come in and talk about, oh, we don't need men and stuff like that. Now what they do is they're becoming the person that put them in that position, or they believe put them in that position. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they feel like there's some type of oppression or suppression that is going on, and they want to turn around and do it back to the people that did it to them, even though they may not be doing it to them. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird psyche that happens in these conversations, because I don't think you don't combat one wrong with an extreme wrong with another extreme wrong, right? It becomes stupid. You go against your point then. And it's like, to a certain extent, it's almost like they weren't about feminism at all, right? Because in some of those, when she was talking about these elite feminists, right? The elite feminists, when I heard these women talk, right? I would listen to what the points that they're making, but there's a certain amount of hatred that is in there.
You can feel it.
And it's overshadowed completely. Then you get lost in like, oh, you just hate me. You just hate me because I'm a man.
It's over aggressive feminism.
Mm-hmm.
It's over aggressive. That's how I see it. It's over aggressive, unnecessary, and that's what pushes me. Again, my opinion. I feel like that's what pushes a lot of people against stuff like that, against feminism, because in some cases, the person who's supporting it or pushing it is making it overbearing. They're force feeding it.
Yeah. So this is like, and then now what you have is it trickles down when you talk about just about the workplace. It trickles down into other
aspects, man.
Other aspects of society. When you talk about relationships, when you talk about just dealing with your neighbor, or just dealing with people in general, how you view them and how you choose to interact with them now becomes an issue. because you become and you take this elitist mindset to where now it's like fuck. Like now men can't even approach women now because it's like, well, I go and if I go and say hello, if I go hold open the door, if I go and do this, it's like some women. I shit you not.
I
I've
can
done
get
this
the door
before.
myself.
Right. I don't need you to do this.
Okay, but and really, what all we're doing is exhibiting chivalry,
Right.
because that's
And
what a
then
lot of us was raised up to do.
yeah, but I think we're gonna I think we should make that another show. We'll make that another topic for another show. We'll talk about feminism and we'll make that the pinpoint, the talking point of relationships. All right, we'll sit there and make that. But I think we've hit pretty much what we wanted to talk about for this particular topic. So, you got anything else, Jay?
Not much. Just know that again, I keep stating it. You know, a lot of the stuff that we say, these are our opinions. Specifically myself. You may disagree with some of the things that I say, but this is my opinion. I respect everyone's opinion. I ask that you respect my opinion. If you disagree with it, at least just respect it. I'm not a feminist, but I definitely support feminism. I just don't like it being overbearing. But that's my opinion. That's all I have.
All right. Well, I'm not a feminist by far. I support equality and common sense. That's what I support.
Absolutely, that is.
And you know, I know this lady made a feminism has taken a wicked role in society now because it's gotten so out of hand and distorted that it's created such a hurricane of confusion and chaos that some of us try not to even deal with women or try to interact with each other just because of that, right?
Yep.
But be decent, be a decent human being, period, to each other. You know, that's all. That's really all.
That's all I ask.
Yeah. If you act decent to me, I will treat you with respect. That's it.
That's equality. As they say, you know, treat others like you want to be treated.
But on that note, I'm P. Jay. We will see you at the next one. Hope you enjoy this one. And see you at the next episode. Peace.
Peace.